Welcome to Ping 24 Updates, where you get the most important news and stories from around the world, every day. Subscribe my channel and click the bell icon to stay informed. The world watches China's military parades with fascination, as columns of uniformed soldiers and rows of gleaming tanks roll through the heart of Beijing. Spectacular displays of advanced weaponry and cutting-edge technology leave many convinced that China's military is on an unstoppable path to dominance. We see J-20 stealth fighters slicing through the sky, massive aircraft carriers cutting through the waves, and naval vessels in perfect formation, each a symbol of a nation determined to project the image of a modern superpower. Around the globe, news outlets and analysts echo the narrative of China's inevitable military dominance, rarely pausing to question what lies beneath the surface. Yet, behind the carefully choreographed parades and polished propaganda, the People's Liberation Army, or PLA, is grappling with deep, systemic problems that are rarely discussed in public. The PLA's real weaknesses aren't about budget shortfalls or outdated equipment. They're rooted in issues of personnel, leadership, and the very integrity of the institution itself. Corruption scandals have rocked the ranks, outdated training methods persist, and political interference from the Communist Party often overrides sound military judgment, all of which undermine the PLA's effectiveness on the battlefield. We'll peel back the layers of state propaganda to reveal the stark contrast between China's projected might and the far more complicated reality of its military capabilities. Beneath the surface, the PLA's foundation is plagued by issues that could lead to catastrophic failure in the event of real conflict, issues that are often hidden from public view. Meanwhile, the Philippines, often dismissed as a military lightweight in regional discussions, offers a surprising and instructive counterpoint to China's approach. The armed forces of the Philippines may lack the high-tech glamour and massive budgets of their Chinese counterparts, but they possess something far more valuable: real combat experience, adaptability in the face of adversity, and a strong sense of national purpose that unites their ranks. True military strength isn't measured solely by advanced weapons or impressive displays. It's forged in the will to fight, the resilience of the troops, and the integrity of the institution that commands them. The PLA's story serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that the illusion of power can be dangerously misleading. By comparing China and the Philippines, we see that victory in conflict depends on far more than just numbers, technology, or the size of a nation's arsenal. The real determinants of military success are adaptability, high morale, and the trust that soldiers place in their leaders and institutions, qualities that can't be paraded or faked. The PLA's weaknesses are fundamental, not superficial, and they threaten to undermine everything that its outward displays are meant to convey. In the end, the myth of Chinese military invincibility is just that, a myth, and one that the world would do well to question more closely. Corruption in the PLA is not isolated, it's systemic, infecting every level of command. Promotions are bought, not earned, filling leadership with the wealthy rather than the competent. This undermines meritocracy and erodes trust within the ranks. Stolen funds mean ships can't sail and jets can't fly. These aren't hypotheticals, but real consequences. Xi Jinping's anti-corruption campaign purged high-profile generals, but the root problem persists. Many believe these purges were more about consolidating power than true reform. The result is a brittle army, impressive on the outside, hollow within. In battle, will soldiers risk their lives for commanders who bought their rank? The PLA's corruption is a critical vulnerability, threatening collapse under real pressure. The illusion of strength hides a dangerously fragile core. For decades, the training of the People's Liberation Army has followed a highly scripted approach, where every move is carefully choreographed and rehearsed. These drills are often designed more for impressive displays and public relations than for building genuine combat readiness or battlefield resilience. Instead of preparing for the unpredictable nature of real warfare, PLA soldiers are taught to rehearse victories in controlled environments, rarely learning to adapt to the chaos and uncertainty that define actual combat. The last time the PLA fought a major war was in 1979, during the brief but intense Sino-Vietnamese conflict. Since then, generations of Chinese soldiers have never faced the realities of modern battle, leaving today's troops with virtually no real combat experience. In stark contrast, the Philippine armed forces have spent decades engaged in real-world fighting, battling insurgents, terrorists, and criminal groups in some of the world's most challenging environments. Filipino soldiers are constantly forced to adapt, improvise, and lead under fire. They develop battlefield instincts and leadership skills that can only be forged through experience, qualities the PLA sorely lacks. The PLA's command structure remains rigid and top-down, with senior officers tightly controlling every decision and movement. Junior officers and enlisted leaders are rarely empowered to make quick decisions on their own, leaving entire units paralyzed and unable to react effectively when plans inevitably go awry in the fog of war. The hard-earned battlefield wisdom of the AFP, gained through years of real conflict, simply cannot be simulated in a training ground or classroom. The PLA's lack of real-world experience, combined with its doctrinal rigidity, could prove disastrous in a true war, where flexibility and quick thinking are essential for survival. True military effectiveness is forged in the crucible of combat, not on parade grounds or in carefully staged drills. The gap between the PLA's doctrine and the harsh realities of the battlefield is vast and dangerous. In a real fight, it's adaptability, experience, and the ability to think on your feet that will matter far more than any scripted drill or choreographed parade. The PLA's unique dual command structure, where every unit is overseen by both a military commander and a political commissar, creates a constant undercurrent of tension and divided authority. This system is designed to ensure that the Communist Party maintains absolute control over the armed forces at all times. Commissars are tasked with prioritizing party loyalty above all else, even over mission success. Their presence often slows down decision-making, as every action must be weighed for political correctness, stifling initiative and independent thinking among officers. As a result, valuable tactical opportunities are frequently lost, while commanders pause to seek political approval, rather than acting swiftly on military necessity. Promotions and career advancement within the PLA depend far more on political reliability and demonstrated loyalty to the party than on actual military competence or battlefield performance. This environment discourages risk-taking and innovation, qualities that are essential for effective leadership and adapting to the unpredictable nature of modern warfare. The PLA is not a national army in the traditional sense. It is the armed wing of the Communist Party, existing primarily to safeguard the party's rule, rather than to defend the nation as a whole. Its primary mission is the survival and supremacy of the Communist Party, not the broader interests of national defense or the Chinese people. This ever-present political shadow looms over every decision, permanently limiting the PLA's combat effectiveness and operational flexibility. No amount of new technology, advanced weaponry, or modernization can fix a system where political considerations always trump military necessity and professional judgment. The PLA's very structure is a built-in weakness, embedding political oversight at every level and undermining unity of command. In the chaos of war, hesitation and bureaucratic delays can be fatal, costing lives and strategic opportunities. The ever-watchful presence of the commissar ensures that the PLA will always be fighting with one hand tied behind its back, unable to fully unleash its potential on the battlefield. The 2012 Scarborough Shoal standoff exposed the gap between China's image and its real capabilities. China used Coast Guard and maritime militia, not its navy, to confront the Philippines. This cabbage strategy avoided direct conflict, revealing a lack of confidence in the PLA Navy. Beijing feared the political cost of even a minor military setback. The PLA remains untested, its leaders wary of exposing weaknesses. China prefers gray zone tactics, bullying over open battle. This approach signals fear of being exposed as a paper dragon. Tactical victories can't hide strategic insecurity. China's military modernization dazzles, but advanced weapons are only as good as those who use them. The PLA's rapid buildup outpaces its ability to train skilled operators and maintainers. Aircraft carriers and stealth fighters require decades of expertise. The US Navy has it, the PLA does not. The gap between hardware and human skill is a dangerous vulnerability. In real combat, untested crews may falter under pressure. The PLA risks falling into the technology trap. First-rate weapons, second-rate warfighters. Shiny hardware can't compensate for lack of experience. In war, skill and adaptability matter more than new gadgets. The PLA's focus on appearances leaves it dangerously exposed. Technology is a tool, not a substitute for real capability. Xi Jinping's ambitious PLA reforms face massive resistance from entrenched interests. The ground forces resist ceding power to the Navy and Air Force. Anti-corruption campaigns have paralyzed initiative, officers fear making decisions. The push for decentralized command clashes with a culture of strict obedience. True reform requires changing mindsets, not just organizational charts. The PLA's culture of corruption and political loyalty is deeply ingrained. Presidential decrees can't fix institutional rot overnight. Until the PLA fosters professionalism and trust, reforms will stall. The boulder of resistance may be too heavy to move. Real change demands a generational shift, not just new equipment. On paper, the Philippines is outmatched by China in every metric. But numbers miss the most important factor, the will to fight. The AFP defends its own land and people, drawing strength from national identity. Filipino soldiers and civilians show resilience and resolve in the face of Chinese pressure. This is a fight for home, not ideology. The PLA's motivation is rooted in party propaganda, powerful but brittle. History shows smaller, motivated forces can defeat larger, less committed ones. The AFP's determination is a strategic asset China can't match. In a drawn-out conflict, morale and purpose could tip the balance. The true strength of the Philippines lies in its spirit, not its arsenal. The China-Philippines comparison forces us to rethink what makes a military truly strong. China's hardware is impressive, but real power comes from people, leadership, and purpose. The PLA's weaknesses, corruption, inexperience, political interference, are deep and structural. The Philippines, despite material disadvantages, has combat experience and a clear mission. War is a contest of wills, not just machines. The PLA is built for parade, not for real war. Until China fixes its institutional flaws, its military will remain a paper dragon. True strength is more than weapons, it's the spirit and resilience of those who fight. The gap between perception and reality is immense. In the end, the will to win matters most.